All right, so this is some ideas that I wanted to share with you guys using index work, something I've been doing for many, many years, and I figured, I'd contribute because some people had some questions about how you can use indexes in your pocket, and I use exclusively pocket indexes for folded cards and whatnot. Now, I do not use the Switch 1 index, not because it's not good, but only because I've been using another one for about 10 years or so, and I'm just so used to it. I have no reason to switch over, and it's hard to transition anyway. But what I have here is the Switch 1 wallet with only 12 cards, so you don't even need the other half of the index. All right, and this is all of the court cards. Now, I'll get into how we're going to get down to those in a moment, but this goes into your back pocket, okay? So this can slip on your back pocket, like so, and the magnets will clip on, and that just sits in your back pocket. Of course, when you're standing. If you're sitting down, you could have this in your lap. These also work if you want to slip this into your pants pocket. Of course, it depends on how tight your pants are, but you only use half of this anyway. All right. Now the setup of the cards is these are the black court cards and these are the red court cards, and I have them staggered. This is the club and spade of jack and clubs of spades, queen of clubs and spades, king of clubs and spades. This is the jack of hearts and diamonds, followed by the queens and the kings. I actually have the queen of hearts removed, so this is only one card there, and you'll understand why. But this is the card that I start off with the effect. Now, this is wherever you need it to be, but this starts off in the table, in the hand, wherever it needs to be. And I say, I don't have a deck of cards on me. I just had this one card, but usually when I perform this, I have a deck with me. So we need to kind of do a little process in which we have to pretend we have some cards. And I know it's going to seem silly at first, but I want you to play along with me, okay? Can you do that? Of course, the spectator will say yes. Say, great. Imagine I hand you a deck of cards, and in a moment, I want you to separate the pile into two piles, number cards and picture cards. And when you've done that, let me know. Just hand me a pile. It doesn't matter which pile you hand me. I always make sure that I say it doesn't matter which pile, because I don't want to imply that the pile that they hand me is going to be the pile that we use. And I don't want them to think that the pile that they're handing me is the pile that they like more than the other. I just want them to hand me a pile as if it's arbitrary, okay? Playing cards are normally arbitrary items to lay people. It's unlike, like, for example, foods or favorite bands or something like that. People can like pizza more than they like pasta, but hearts and diamonds or picture cards and number cards are kind of irrelevant information to a normal person. So in this case, we're going to make it arbitrary. So I would say to them, I'm going to give you both scenarios. If they hand me the picture cards, this is what I do. Okay, in a moment, I want you to separate the cards into two piles, number cards and picture cards, and just hand me a pile. It doesn't matter what you hand me. What'd you hand me? The picture cards? Okay, great. I'm going to spread this picture cards in front of you, and I'm going to actually separate them into reds and blacks. Now, I don't want you to tell me which ones you're going to get rid of, but in a moment, you're going to eliminate either the reds or the black picture cards, okay? So when you've got it, just say, I got it. Great. I'm going to eliminate those, and only you know which one you've eliminated, the blacks or the reds. I don't know, and I don't want you to tell me. Now I'm going to separate them into either the clubs and spades or the hearts and diamonds. And I don't want you to tell me, but we're going to eliminate either the hearts or the diamonds or the clubs or the spades, depending on which ones you have, okay? I'm going to get rid of one pile. Perfect. So now you're down to one suit. We have the jack, the queen, and the king of whatever suit you're thinking. I have no idea what is in your head. I want you to eliminate two of those cards, and you're left with one card. Now, only you know the true identity of that playing card, because you haven't told me anything. What was the card that you narrowed down to? And they're going to say whatever they say, and that's the whole entire script. I'll get back to the third part, which is the switch, in a second, but I want to go over what happens if they hand me the number cards, right? So I've just done the blah, 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 narrowed, make two piles, number card, picture card, and hand me a pile. I don't care what you hand me. And let's say they hand me the number cards. I go, okay, great. Pick up the cards in front of you. So imagine you have picture cards, and I want you to spread those and separate them into two piles. This again into either red and blacks, and I want you to eliminate in your mind whichever one you have. And I want you to actually, visually throw those cards over your shoulder. Can you do that for me? Great. Now don't tell me which ones you got rid of, but you either got rid of the blacks or the reds, right? Great. So now I want you to separate them either into clubs and spades or hearts and diamonds. Once again, don't tell me. And then eliminate either the clubs or the spade or the heart or the diamond. You good to that? Great. Okay, so now you are left with 3 cards in front of you. The Jack, the Queen, and the King of either the clubs, hearts, spades, or diamonds. I have no idea which one it is. I want you to take 2 cards and throw them away, and you're going to be left with 1 card in front of you. Great? Great. So now that they've done that, it's the same scenario, right? Either I'm doing it for them or they're doing it for them. Either way, they've left with the Jacks, the Queens, and the Kings of whatever suit. Now, the reason why I make that process so long is because later on I'm going to have them misremember this process, at least a small factor of it, because if I just went directly to name a card, it's too close to the time where I said to hand me pictures or numbers, and it might give away the method. But now that they've narrowed down to 1 card, this is what I say. So let's say they said Jack of clubs, right? So I get the Jack of clubs, and I get it palmed in my hand, right? Just that back pocket. I turn my body as I'm talking, whatever. You know, as they're looking at the cards, or looking there, I get the card out and I'm ready to switch it out. So this is what I say. I go, okay. Now, a moment ago, I placed a card on the table, right? Now I don't know. I never showed you what that card was, but I left it there on the table. And I had you choose between picture cards or number cards. You chose picture cards, right? You could have chosen number cards, but you chose picture cards. And then I had you eliminate between the black or the red, and you got rid of the red cards. You could have gotten rid of the black, but you got rid of the red. And then I gave you the choice between clubs or spades, and you got rid of the spades. You could have gotten rid of the clubs. And then then you had the Jacks, the Queens, and the Kings were left, and you got rid of the Queens and the Kings, but you could have gotten rid of the Jacks and the Jacks. Is that right? You narrowed down to 1 playing card, and that was completely up to you. I am not showing you that card. The Jack of clubs was the card you named. Boom, whatever it is. Okay. Now, the routining for is basically the same if they had handed me the number cards, right? So at this point, I just make it more about the highlighting of the secrecy of things, right? So a moment ago, I pick up the cards. This is when I'm going to do the switch again, right? Let's say a moment ago, I placed a card on the table, okay? And then we went over a process in which you chose some cards, you narrowed down to colors and suits, and everything was in your control, right? For example, you decided on the club, but you could have gotten rid of the diamonds or whatever it is that you wanted to do. I could not have controlled what you did. You narrowed down to the 1 suit that only you could have done this way, right? And I make it more about the secret in their mind instead of it being about, I don't really highlight about, oh, you could have said this or that, you could have said this or that, because I don't want them to remember that they handed me number cards and that I had them use what was in their hand. I just want to tell them about, oh, you did a bunch of process, you did a big process that has a bunch of different steps that was completely up to you. Is that fair? And they have to agree with you because everything was up to them. They chose to hand me what they chose me. They chose to eliminate those things, and everything was copacetic up to that point. At this point, the switch has already been done, so you just hand it to them. Go, what was the card that you narrowed down to? And you show it, or you have them turn it over, whatever. Now, the reason why I do the switch at the time is because they have to process 2 bits of information. They have to process what I'm doing, which is opening up the card, and they have to process the words that I'm using. And it's too much to process at once. Instead of me going, what was your card? Jack of clubs? Okay, we have 1 card here, right? It's fine to do because, of course, the switch is that strong. But the problem is, to me, is that if it was the card, I would just say, open it, So at this point, I prefer to kind of do this like cathartic, retelling of history, so that later on I go, what was your card? And I can just do this, or I can have them look at it themselves, So that's essentially the routine. It's a pretty basic equivoque. There's a lot of other, simple ways to do it. That's just how I've been doing it for a long time. I want them to misremember the choice that they made. Another way I used to do it was I would say, I want you to imagine a deck of cards in your hand, and you throw all the cards up in the air, and some cards start to fall down, either the number cards or the picture cards. What cards start to fall to the ground? If they say number cards, you say, great. So in the sky, you have the picture cards, and then you go from there. If they say the picture cards are falling, you say, great. As the picture cards are falling, some cards are turning face up and face down. Are the face-up cards red or black? Red? Okay, great. So out of all the red face-up cards, I want you to start manually turning over some of the red cards, either the hearts or the diamonds. What did you turn over? The hearts? Okay, so now all the diamonds are left. The Jack, Queen, King of diamonds are left. Great. turn over 2, you're just going to stick with 1 so that 1 is face up on the floor in front of you. Okay, what was the card that, and then whatever. So there's a lot of ways of playing with it. A lot of people have some interesting thoughts on Equivocate. These are just mine, and you don't have to use them. These are just ways I've been doing it for a long time. I know Josh J has a great method for his trick, Inferno. I know, Darren Brown, Hector Chadwick. I know a lot of people have some different ideas. Christian Grace has, of course, some great ideas. But this is just my contribution. You could also wear this in your pants pocket if you so wish. I would just bow this a little bit so that it fits in your pocket. And then you could also do the idea that Christian had, which is just to have money in your wallet. So they name it, and you can pull it out and go, I bet you this much money. If this doesn't work, you can have that much money, and you can retrieve the card when you need to. So, but it's just nice that you don't need to have 26 playing cards. There's less cards to flash. There's less cards to see. You can open up your wallet and go right into it. So that's the ideas. Hope you guys like it.